Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Scorpio. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well. This is for your June 2020 general reading, and a lot of great information coming through for your sign today. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. I see everybody was joining a little bit early, so I thought we would get started as well. And I'm going to put down this sweet little soul here and get started. If you're brand new, let me introduce myself properly. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And again, this is going to be for Scorpio for June 2020. Because some of you might be joining me live, I just want to remind you that there'll still be information that applies to here and now, especially when we look at the elements in the past and the deep past. So let's talk a little bit about how everything is arranged today. I like to organize this in 4 major parts. I start with intuitive information at the beginning, which comes to me through meditation right before I get started, and also in the hours that even precede the reading. A lot of times dreams and visions come to me as I'm getting ready in the morning. So psychic information first, then we'll move along to the Celtic cross and take a look at messages that are going to come through showing high points, challenges, and all of the choices that you get to make in between that really form the energy of the month. I like to extend the forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And then probably my favorite part is the latter portion, during which we'll look at ways that you can be healed this month. That's the general theme across all signs. And the sort of extent to the healing or the focus on that healing will be revealed as we go through this reading. So that's very much sort of an organic part of the reading. And then we'll go into a meditation to kind of put everything together and help you integrate, basically. So hopefully that gives you some insight into what's ahead. Before I get started, because it's live, I'd like to welcome my moderators, Ryan and Maria, who help keep everything organized here. And also let all of you know how I deal with super chats, because I know every reader has a sort of different approach to that. So for me, it just functions as a way to say thank you. It's like a virtual tip jar, just saying you appreciate what you see. So if you'd like to show support, you can do that with this little $ there. Feel free to send a sticker or say something positive. And that helps me continue to buy new supplies, stay up to date, and really just make time in my schedule to make these videos. So to anyone that does that today, thanks in advance. When the video is finally on replay, I always call out those contributors. Otherwise, at the very end of the reading, I'll go into more ways that you can get back and be involved. But for here and now, I feel like we need to get into the messages ahead. So let's do that. All right. So as I was meditating this morning, the first thing that came to me was this image of being midway, kind of like walking across a bridge, one of those old-fashioned ones that's kind of made of ropes and wooden planks. And as I was in the middle of the bridge, in my head, it was like I heard the phrase, "Don't look back" or "Don't look down." And of course, you invariably do when that happens. And in that moment, that's where I kind of felt my heart skip. And I think that for many of you, there's a reminder or sort of a validation that you have what it takes to get to whatever the next piece of your life is or goal in your life is. And sometimes we get frozen in that fear of what's at risk. So for me, looking down has to do with, how big is the fall? When you look at the Fool card, one of the great things about that card is the Fool is ready to move forward, and it's not worrying so much about am I going to fail? What will people think? Is it a big fall? So there's something powerful about that, because if we only focus on potential setbacks, pitfalls, or dangers, we never move forward. It's good to be prepared. Constructive criticism is a necessary part of perfecting something. But I do think that there is a point at which it's time to kind of like let it go, let it fly. And sometimes that's you, sometimes it's an old relationship, sometimes it's an idea. And I feel like the main message as I looked out at that, that vision of the bridge is just keep going. Finish what you've started, something I've said before, but also don't focus so much on looking backwards or looking down. There's I can't remember there's a song by the Indigo Girls, actually, it's called Watershed. And there's a line in it that says, retrospect always lights a clearer path, which is a nice and poetic way of saying, it's always easier to, 10 years down the line to look at something and think, that's why it happened. Or I could have done it better if this, and this occurred. But in the moment, all you really have to do is be clear, cognizant, use all of your abilities to make the best decision. And if you do that, you should never beat yourself up. Okay. So keep pressing forward. Take some information and insight from what you've been through, but don't make that sort of be the extent of, oh, it's taking too long, or I lost this opportunity, or should have done that, or if I do this, I could fail. Because as you start to say it, it's kind of like staccato going in there and breaking up the energy and breaking up the potential, okay? So you've got this, and basically I wrote down overcome fear. Don't waste time looking down or looking back. Only focus on the energy of what you're trying to do in the future, okay? Fear can be a good thing if I believe any emotion can kind of be transmuted. I like fear when it comes through as you can kind of make it into excitement, like butterflies. For those of you that might perform and think, I'm ready for this, or I want to try something new, that moment where you kind of step on stage and you just want to make it work. Those types of butterflies, that kind of fear can be good, but make it more in sort of like anticipation. I can't wait for this to happen. I hope I do a good job. But put it in that energy rather than I'm afraid that I'll fail, or I'm afraid that this will fall apart. Okay. The next image that came to me was an olive branch, and a couple of words came to me, one where I actually had to look it up to make sure I understood all the different meanings, and I actually like that there's layers to it. The first thing was just, to me, olive branch symbolizes peace. It can be an apology. It can be making peace with something that's happened or someone that's wronged you. The other word that came to me was to make amends, and for that one, I actually looked it up on the dictionary for a second because I thought it's a weird phrase. It's a weird sort of way to say like make amends with someone or make amends with something. And I thought of amendment, which is really to go back and improve or change. And one thing that I thought about with amend is really that for some of you, it's just a chance to sort of look at something with a different sort of view. And it's just a slight shift that's necessary to understand another person's perspective too. Once you do that, you could actually go back and empathize and say, you know what, I'm sorry I didn't see it from your perspective. It makes more sense to me now. I could have done better. Maybe you could have done better too, but let's just try to work together moving forward. So make peace was basically the second message that came through. The image was an olive branch. I also heard clairaudiently like make amends. And so slight change, slight shift of perspective could really make everything easier for you and the other person to understand. So the final thing that came through was just to be willing to open up, and particularly if you're feeling lost, like if you're at that midpoint on the bridge trying to think, should I turn around or should I go forward? I like to sometimes throw out a request to the universe to really shine a bright spotlight on what I'm supposed to be doing. Make it obvious. So I said here, ask for help, ask for a sign, or ask for help. And intend that will be a very clear sign or a very clear indication of what you need to be doing. So sometimes it could be like a synchronicity that comes about because of that request or that prayer or meditation. Other times it might just really feel like mind, body, and spirit, like I have to do this or I can't do this. But ask for a sign and then listen. It's not always going to be a vision or something that you hear. A lot of times it could be something that you feel or something that you are kind of moved to explore or try. Okay? So those are your channeled messages for this morning. We're going to look now at the larger spread of everything coming through for the month of June. And we'll have some additional opportunities to go back to those messages as I see things that kind of correlate with that. All right. At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down and remain quiet as I lay out all the cards, but I'll be back in just a second to walk you through what it all means. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, thanks everybody for being patient as everything was laid out here. The first message that came through was, it says, never a crowd on the leading edge, and it says, honor those who honor you. So, interesting. So sometimes as you are doing something that's important, you may feel isolated or alone. That's really that's a very strange wording to kind of communicate that point, but there's never a crowd on the leading edge. So if you are someone who's leading the charge, doing something that's important, sometimes it's normal to feel alone because you're changing a paradigm or changing the way that people are seeing or perceiving things. So for many of you, this is just validation that if others aren't there at the moment, that's not because they don't love you or don't care. It's because you're doing something that is different, that is challenging that sort of status quo. And it's okay in certain moments of your life to feel that isolation. In this moment, when you make these sort of decisions of what's important, the folks that do show up are the ones that matter. And that's where the second piece says, honor those who honor you. You really discover who your friends are, whether it's a turn of events where, maybe you find yourself in a situation where you've, lost your job and, a lot of those old friends fall away, but there's a couple that are there when you really need it. You learn that was always your true friend. The other ones might have just been more fair weather friends. So this is a moment of revelation. Whatever challenge or whatever blessing you might be going through, or for those of you that are taking a risk in your life and trying something different, as you move into this energy of changing and shifting, that's what's going to happen. A feeling for a little bit like I'm alone, and then also seeing some people that you can count on. The card was reversed, which may make you sometimes question if it's all valid or why am I doing this? Again, going back to what we talked about earlier, I think it's important for you to follow your own your own North Star, rather, your own light, and others will follow if you believe in yourself and you kind of transcend and become the star. And that's really what I see with that card. Beautiful illustration, strange way of saying it, but I get the meaning. Okay, let's look at the center card here. We have the Ace of Cups, which I always see as a very positive omen. When it's reversed, there's a gentle nudge to you to really kind of look and see, are you happy? Are you feeling a little bit tapped out energetically, I should say? And when it comes to the key relationships in your life, is there reciprocity? Do you feel like there's enough give and take between you and your partners and your friends? Balance that out, because if you can, the Ace of Cups is a great card for being able to sort of magnetically draw in great opportunities, to use your heart, to use your passion, to really to create things that matter and are of interest to others. So put your heart into it. But the first thing is to make sure that you feel okay. Always honor, a lot of times we call it your gut instinct. It can be your heart instinct. It can be any of your chakras that are open. But I would say honor what feels right for you. And if it doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. And take care of yourself and create some limits there. We have the Four of Cups on top of this, which is often a blessing in disguise, or even sometimes an opportunity that's right around the horizon, or right around the corner rather, but you have to be fully aware. So earlier I said, ask for a sign or for help, but then if that sign or that symbol comes to you, don't push it away, or don't be sort of so focused on it coming in one way, shape, or form that you miss it. So open-hearted, because we have the Ace of Cups here, and I would also say open-minded. And that's going to help. The other message with the Four of Cups is the grass isn't always greener on the other side. People do a really good job today, more than maybe they did in 20 years in the past, of cultivating and projecting an illusion, or sort of this version of themselves that they want to, on social media in particular. But even, I guess it's always been something that could happen with just how you present yourself in public life. So I think some people around you may be at a point where they're projecting more happiness than they have, and it can make you question, am I doing something wrong? Because these people seem to have it all together. Everybody's working on something. Everybody's trying to discover something. So look at your life, give yourself more credit perhaps than you normally do as far as how far you've come, what you're working on, and then open yourself up to different ways to solve your problems, because there could be an unconventional solution that's right there, ready and ripe for the picking, but you have to sort of think, oh, maybe I'll try that. I'd never thought of giving this a chance. And I think that's going to be great for you if you do that. The other thing with this is, through gratitude, your heart can often open up and you see things from that different perspective. So you may find that you are happier than you realize, but you just have to look for a moment and kind of put all the pieces together and understand all the different blessings. So perspective is really what I see, balancing out your heart energy, how much you're giving and receiving, and also getting some perspective on where you truly are, resetting that compass and thinking, am I truly feeling this because I'm upset or because I'm comparing myself to other people? The comparison is often where things kind of fall apart. As I look at deep past, and for many of you that are watching live, this is going to apply to you. The deep past message is, have you found the balance you're looking for? This can be work life. This can be also kind of looking at literally your finances. It can also be just your health. What's currently sort of taking a beating because you're putting something into another area, kind of for those of you that are burning the candle at both ends to try to, make ends meet or finish up maybe a job or a degree that you're working on. This is just saying you've got to make sure that you're okay. So find the balance that you so necessarily and desperately need, I think, and honor that, find it so that you can stay healthy, be well. Set up a new and positive habit in your life, because as we look at recent past here, I feel like this can stick. I like the 8 of Cups. To me, the 8 of Cups is a card of making and breaking cycles. So choose to make a good cycle and let anything that you don't want fall away. The other piece of this is, and I think this is what the olive branch vision was about, some of you are going to have a second chance to either say I'm sorry or to connect with somebody with whom you may have had a falling out or just didn't have a really great experience in the past. So this card is showing you that this time around, you can make it work. I see it as a card of second chances. And there's always a choice with this, though. If you don't like this person coming in and out of your life repeatedly, this is a chance to sort of clear the karma, end that cycle that you have, and let it go. But overall, there's nothing really bad with the 8 of Cups. It's just cyclical. So look at your life and think, do I have the balance that I need? If not, I'm going to make that and use the cyclical energy of 8 of Cups to cement it in. And is there something that's bringing me out of balance? If so, I'm going to break the cycle and let it happen this month and choose something new. With the ace in the center, then you can reinvest it in that, because to me, the aces are always opportunities. In this case, it's love, passion, or something that you feel strongly about. The 2 of Swords makes a lot of sense. The card was reversed, but for me, the 2 of Swords, we don't see the path on this card as much, but a lot of times you'll see that woman with the 2 swords, and behind her are the 2 different directions in which she can go. And it's not necessarily that like you're kind of like painting yourself in a corner or anything. It's sometimes that there's no clear-cut path to success or failure. Sometimes you have to just go. You have to just decide. So with the 2 of Swords, you have encouragement and permission to make a move. You've waited long enough. It's time to move forward. There's a lot of relationship energy coming through and partnership energy. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it feels like some of you might be taking that leap towards something better. I like 4 of Wands, super foundational card. When it comes to friendships and just general partnerships, it's positive, it's auspicious, it portends good things. So this is a great month, the month of June, that is, for you to really be focusing on putting the energy that you want to in those key relationships, because they can grow in very productive ways. In fact, we see 9 of Pentacles in the environment. So this could lead you and whoever you're with to be in a great space. We also have the 2 of Cups in the opportunity space. So I'm seeing some great energy around partnering up. The other thing with 4 of Wands for you is, do you feel safe and secure? For me, like I said, it can be foundational, and it can be opening up the space for somebody to come in. So one of the important things that I think is often skipped when you're looking for trying to either make a partnership happen or open something up to that is that you have to at least in your head think, I'm ready. So if you're ready to, find a new friend, find a new love interest, partner up in business, get everything in order. This is your month for lining up all of your ideas, getting everything, even from a sort of like tax, financial, business, and legal perspective, get all that stuff foundationally built so that it's easy for someone to step right into this sort of new version of your life that you want to create and this new opportunity. So make space. If you're trying to manifest a partner, an interesting tip here can also be like clearing and cleaning your house, but also like make some space in your closet, some room in your drawers, like your sock drawer and everything. Just kind of like open up some space so that someone else can come into your life. Clean up other elements of it, your health, your finances, your family relationships. Say I'm sorry to people, like clear everything up so that between you and the person that you love, it's easier. If you're in an existing relationship, do the same, still clear it out so that the two of you have a nice open passageway between your heart space, because that's where I saw the imbalance before. If you're single and happy, this is just about business partnerships and it looks great. There's a lot of great growth that can happen there. All right, when we're looking at your ego this month, we have the 5 of Cups. The card is reversed. And this really aligns with what I was talking about earlier with standing on the bridge. You have different things that you can focus on. Perspective, perspective, perspective. That's really what we see here. This is what has been lost. You see this person actually focusing on what's still at their disposal, what they can work on. So always look at the possibilities. Understand that any potential setbacks, a lot of times you call it into your life just as an opportunity to know what your trigger is, maybe even to underline how truly attached to something you are, because it sort of shows, it helps you get sort of that perseverance and that mettle that you need to be able to go after something. We look at people that are successful and you don't realize sometimes they work for like 5, 10, 20 years to sometimes get to that point, especially, athletes, for instance, that are up on that Olympiad, on the stand at the Olympics. They're sort of, there's that one moment, but there was anywhere, like some of them started when they were 10 years old training for that moment when they're 18 or something. So just know that a lot goes into it. And this is your moment to sort of prove I'm ready, I'm willing, and I'm not going to let these couple of things pull me back from my dream. I believe in me. And that's kind of your mantra that you need to kind of sit into this month if you can. Okay. In your environment card, we have the 9 of Pentacles, which in its upright position is really only positive. It shows that you can start to take advantage of the hard work that you've done and see some sort of a return on it. That's why we sort of see harvest energy here. With the reversal of this card, 2 things. One, it's showing a slight delay in getting to this end result. It's also saying this month, partnership is really important. So even though you can do it alone, you don't necessarily need or maybe even want to do this all alone. Right above it, we have the 2 of Cups card. It was reversed, but it's there. And when the reversal is right on top of a really positive card like this, and also when we're looking at even the center with the 4 of Cups, I feel like some of you may be unready, unwilling, or maybe even distrustful of some of the help that wants to come into your life. So do your research, ask some questions, trust your intuition. Is it just the fear of letting someone come in, or is it something more? So sort that piece out. I'm not seeing anything that would indicate sort of nefarious energy or anything. It seems more like an internal struggle and or choice, like, no, I want to do this alone, or you know what, I am going to delegate. I am going to share this. This could be a richer experience by having some other insight involved here. So when it comes to work and partnerships, there's definitely a lot of energy around that coming into your life. The question is, do you want it? Ace of Cups, 4 of Wands, 2 of Cups. Those are great cards for love and for either opening up to it or deepening a relationship. Some of you might be thinking about, marriage or again, signing a contract with somebody. So that's exciting news for those of you that are in that area. The 2 of Cups in reverse in the hopes and fears area also speaks to the balance cards that we saw here, like at the bottom. So if you're feeling like this is out of balance, then don't be afraid to stand up and ask for what you need. A lot of times, especially if you're intuitive, you're like, why can't they just figure it out? Not everyone has the same openness or the same awareness that you do. So sometimes it is good to spell it out or to kind of set some expectations. I think that could help you quite a bit. In your outcome this month, we have the Knight of Wands, also in a reverse state. It's about a mixed bag this month, 50-50, upright and reverse. So with this one, it's always about being able to develop an idea, share an idea. But this one being reversed is saying that there's a different way of looking at things. Keep an open perspective. I think that openness is the #1 message that I see here in both healing and growth and love and relationships and really everything is, am I really seeing it for what it is, or am I wearing a pair of like filters that are altering or warping what I'm seeing? So always kind of take a step back, take a deep breath, and reevaluate things, because I feel like there's a lot more potential energy, opportunity, growth, and just information than you're going to see at first glance this month. So the deeper you can go, the better. I think that's going to help quite a bit. All right, let's expand the forecast. I'm going to take a quick drink here, but we're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Beginning with your messages in health. Health is a combination of your mind, your body, and your spirit. And this is one of my favorite animal symbols here. We have the hummingbird. It says, the more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless I am and free I am. So this is where I believe that taking that leap of faith, and also to me, this is the number one symbol that the universe sends me when it's trying to say, it's going to be okay, or raise your vibration. For those of you that have decent hearing, if you've ever kind of had a hummingbird feeder or some flowers and you've watched the hummingbirds kind of dart in and out, there's this really high vibration. You can hear their wings flap. You can hear this high frequency vibration. So this is always telling me that there's more positivity in my life than I realize, and it's just saying raise your frequency in your thoughts. So try to also trust yourself and have faith in what you're doing. And remember the message back at the beginning, although reversed. I'm going to pull it up right. It was just saying that sometimes when you're doing it right, you're alone, or you're not getting the feedback that you need, because sometimes people just aren't there yet. True leaders, I think a great example of this would be fashion. You'll see stuff on Paris and Milan runways where you think, what is that? But 2 or 3 years later, it's in all of the stores, maybe modified slightly. So, fashion designers are years ahead, and a lot of their ideas have to be heavily modified so that the masses kind of understand it. But that's an example of sometimes you look at something and don't know how it could possibly relate to you, and then all of a sudden you're wearing that color or you're wearing that design. And so just know that if you're on that cutting edge, it's okay, you're in the right place. So this is more about your psychological elements here. With the faith portion of this, I would also say, and the fear portion, if it's starting to manifest in a way that you can't control, like you just feel a lot of fear or anxiety, talk to someone. That's what I was kind of highlighting with this channeled message. Find someone that can listen and help you see it from a different perspective. The partnership energy could just be a therapist or a mentor this month. So be open, be willing, be ready, because it feels like there's a lot of support for you. I love your your near future and your outcome cards. They're good. This is an idea that's ready to take form or take shape, but there's patience. It's not going to get out as fast as you want. When I see any of the knights or any of the pages in reverse, it's just showing crossed wires a little bit in the messaging or the timing. But I see that there is a place for whatever it is you're trying to do right now. So trust in yourself, have faith in yourself, be patient. It's going to take a little bit longer than you think. The main message is just through the cards, not looking at the card here in the expanded forecast. I would say for you, really focus on balancing things out. So again, getting enough sleep, eating well. Overall, when we're looking at your deep past, it is really making sure that balance is in place. If there's anything in your life that you've been struggling with, like an addiction or a habit, get some help this month and be strong. You can push through it, particularly for those of you where it's like overeating or over drinking. These cards can represent that. So just spend a little bit of extra time focusing on that. Finally, if there's something that you're worried about, talk to somebody about that too. This card, when I'm looking at health, is sometimes indicating a sense or a sensation that, oh, I really should get this looked at, or this doesn't feel the way it normally should. By all means, talk to somebody about that. I don't see the devil, the tower, or the 10 of swords here. So you're probably going to get information that will just help you cope or deal with it, and it may not be as bad as you think. Fear is always worse than the information that you'll receive. Fear and ignorance work hand in hand. So when you are basically empowered with knowledge, insight, and understanding, fear dissipates, ignorance dissipates, and you find strength and courage. Okay. Looking at wealth, we have independence here, Bast. It says your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. I definitely got that sort of friction between wanting to do it on your own and having somebody that could really be of assistance to you. because so much of the energy this month factors in around possible assistance. And yet when we look at who you are, I see a lot of independence with the Nine of Pentacles. So maybe it's just about setting up boundaries and having some sort of a contract in place to protect yourself. So for business, that would be a non-disclosure agreement. There's sometimes an overlap between your wealth and your relationships. So for marriage, it could be a prenuptial agreement. Basically securing and protecting assets and expectations so that you can move forward and be independent, but maybe still have people assisting you. Because folks that run their own businesses still have employees. So it's just basically about saying the function, sort of setting out how this person will work with you. And once you've kind of put that into place, I feel like you'll be able to be both partnered and also the person in charge. And I think that's what's important. Finding your inner voice is part of that card. This is also a divine feminine card. Bast was an Egyptian goddess. I think she's also a goddess of fertility. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a good card to have in your wealth area. And this is also very positive, Nine of Pentacles. So I believe that once you start to make better choices and find where to spend your time and energy, you see growth and abundance starting to grow in that space. So I'm happy to see that. When I was pulling for love, two cards flipped out, or one card flipped out, I was pulling the other one. So let's go with the card that came out of the deck. There's really no upright or reversed on these cards because they're illustrations. But it did come this way, which is a divine feminine card here as well. It kind of reminds me of the energy of the Empress. But when we look at it in perhaps its upright position, what we're looking at here is somebody that's moving through water or moving through the energy of emotion, because to me, that's what that symbolizes if you're moving over the sea, kind of like the Six of Swords transitioning. And it's interesting on this one too, you can kind of see energy coming out of their hands on this, and then this person receiving it. So for many of you, there's this chance to sort of channel and connect. To me, this is all about passion and release and transitioning your energy. So looking at what matters in your life. Is there somebody that's holding you back? Sometimes the energy of the Empress can be controlling and can be overwhelming. So when you realize, no, I'm the one in control here, and I'm going to make the decisions, then you start to get your power back. The other piece is passion can be a really driving force. So when you believe in what you do, when you start to put your heart and soul into something, you attract people that have that same energy. So in the realm of love or relationships, the two messages that I see here are, you're always the one at the steering wheel. And if you don't feel it, don't do it. But if you feel it, definitely do it. And you're going to be surprised. This is the attractive force. I think it's hard to get away from people this month, even though we're isolated. When we're looking at opportunities in the month and months ahead, it feels like you have a lot of attractive energy and people will want to be in your sort of energetic sphere. Even if it is, from a distance, you have this opportunity to partner up. So decide what you want to do with that. To me, I'm looking at this card here, and it really is about honoring your desires. For some of you, you might be wanting to start a family. For some of you, you might be wanting to create something that really matters in your life. The energy this month wasn't so much about another person as much as it was about elements of yourself. So self-control, passion, power. And the other one was, what do I want to put my energy into? If you're looking for love this month, as I said, Ace of Cups, Four of Wands, Two of Cups, it's there. It's just a sort of decision in your life. Is everything in balance, and are you ready? Have you set a nice firm foundation for this to sort of set and hold? Because if you have, then you have a great cycle and a great future with this person. But if there's something that you need to fix in yourself or in the relationship, do that now. This is the time to put it to the test. It feels like you can get through this based on what I've looked at. Better now than later. All right, your final card, looking at destiny, which is always a choice in this particular spread. It's where you're headed, but if you don't like it, change your destiny, change your choices. The card was reversed, but I need to read it upright. It says, awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. So interestingly enough, I think if you're in the frequency of love, you don't need as much protection because you're pushing out that energy of, kindness, and you're trying to pull people in that same frequency. So it kind of actually protects you a little bit. But the other piece of this is Many of you are starting to wake up and you might be more sensitive than you have before. Your sign in general is a very open and sensitive sign. So if there's something this month where you feel a little bit of uncertainty, my advice before sharing something about yourself or sharing something that you love is to really believe in it. You know, if you think of a salesperson that's trying to get you to buy in on something, if you can tell that they're just kind of going through their head and, you know, here's a product, I know you'll love it, you're not going to really be attached to that, and you'll say, no, thank you. But if somebody comes to you and says, I want to share how I changed my life, something pivotal in my life that really, once I embraced this, everything changed, and they said it with that emotion, I would say, okay, I'm interested. It's a lot more interesting than just, here's something, do you want to buy it? The same can be applied to kind of sharing information about your life. Like if you want to announce an engagement, a move, if you're coming out, if there's anything that you want to share, if you basically put a little bit of a forward and say, you know what, I love you and I care about you and want to share something pivotal with you first before I share it with the world, because you're super important to me. So you basically from the onset say, you're my number one. This is important and I'm excited to share it with you, and then share it. They would look really bad if they didn't react positively in that situation, because you've set them up to celebrate. If you start to apologize your way into something, or you start to say, well, I don't know, I mean, you don't have to like this, but like take a look at it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. It's like, do you like it? Do I want to see it? I don't know. So really feel what you're saying and feel what you're doing. So I'm going to go a step further on this. In order to kind of awaken other people's perception, you have to be in that knowledge and in that know, and so that they can also kind of flow with that. So it's a little beyond the energy of the card, but that was something else that I was receiving from my guides. So believe in yourself, and that belief and that understanding will bring about protection and will also manifest acceptance and positivity as well. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at everything that we said with the lens of all the cards together. We'll do a quick review, and then we'll move along to the healing portion and look at past, present, and future influences on how you can heal, how you can grow before we get into a meditation. All right, so let me turn the camera down here as we do that. And we'll go back to the channeled messages, starting with overcoming fear. As I mentioned, when I was tuning into this message, I saw someone standing on a bridge and looking down and looking back. And I felt at that moment that it became overwhelming. When I focused on just moving forward, my heart was lightened, my energy was also lightened, and I just felt like I could do it. So overcome fear. This could also simply be by asking questions and getting the information that you need, because the Two of Swords can indicate sometimes that just a fear of information or understanding is holding you back. Make peace with something in your life, with where you've been, with where you're at, with what happened. Also say, I'm sorry, or an apology to someone. I saw an olive branch for this. I think we're at a point right now where we can't afford to hold grudges anymore, because there's no guarantees. You know, someone could get sick and you wouldn't have a chance to say, I'm sorry. So just let it go. It's going to lighten your load quite a bit. And if you need help, if you feel like I just have a lot of energetic weight on my shoulders, ask for a sign. And also don't be afraid to go and ask for a mentor to help you out, or a psychologist, whatever you need. This is the time to ask, because we got so much partnership energy this month. I think some people are just waiting for you to say, hey, can you give me a hand? And they'll be there for you. So this card was reversed. It's upright as you're looking at it. It says, never a crowd on the leading edge. Honor those who honor you. So if you are truly doing something that is a paradigm shift or is a little bit unusual, you might be on the right path, even if nobody around you understands what you're doing. And those people who did show up, God bless them. That's what this card is saying. They're really there. They're the friends. They're the visionaries. And honor those people right back and say, thank you for seeing something in myself, maybe even that I couldn't see in myself. An ace card is positive, whether it's upright or reversed. But when it is reversed, it shows a potential block, oftentimes within. So there's something within you that could also be saying, I'm not deserving or ready for love, or is my current situation as good as someone else? I would say stop comparing and start allowing. Open yourself up to receive love and abundance in all forms. That can be part of your meditation. That's one of the things that I will just say as a mantra. I'm open to love and abundance in all forms. And then start to see maybe my life is even better than I thought, and there's even more growth and potential that's available to me. Flipping these meanings of these cards so that they are positive. All of these cards can be put into a positive light, and that's what we're going to do on the review here. I have the ability to balance my life. I just have to make smart choices. That's what the Two of Pentacles is saying. So make the choices you need. I can create a cycle that is lasting and impactful. That's what the Eight of Cups says. It also says you have a second chance to do something that you couldn't do the first time. And if you want to let go of something, you can let go of it. All of these are part of that. To kind of pull this into the positive, I would simply say, don't be afraid to find out whatever you need to find out. The Two of Swords is a revelation card. Take the blindfolds off and walk in a certain direction and then commit to it. It's okay. You can do it. The information is going to empower and inform you. You'll be fine. You have a lot of help, a lot of support, a lot of assistance on the ready. All you have to do is decide when, how, and if you want to tap into that. Four of Wands is a support card. There's nothing negative about it. It's upright. So it's just a question of when for you. When do you want to step into that opportunity? Looking at what could be holding you back, which can either sort of like allow you to soar, or in this case, anchor you down. It's the Five of Cups. Are you choosing to focus on what is lost or what's at your disposal? And you've got a lot of resources, friends, family, money, opportunity that is here that wants to grow. But it does look like cooperation is part of this. You've got to cooperate. Finding a way to do that. As we looked at Bast here, independence, it's really, I can still be the leader, but also have people working with me. So finding a way to be strong, but work with others. Cooperate, but not lose your power. That's what we're seeing here. Two of Cups can be romantic. It can be professional. It can just be an attractive card. But what I'm seeing here is that there's the energy of partnership that wants to come in. It's in the opportunity space. So you get to either pull it in or push it away. It's very much up to you. Knight of Wands, final card here, outcome. To me, this is taking your idea and getting other people engaged with it, inspired by it, and you can move it forward, but it is reversed. So don't be upset by a delay. What I've started to learn with the universal flow is that a lot of times delays are blessings. It gives me a chance to perfect something if it's a project, or if it's a relationship that may not have been the one. There might be something greater or more of a match that's ready. So see every delay as a blessing. See every opportunity as something that you can still achieve and move forward with that positivity. When we look at your health card, to me, this is a really, really positive symbol, as I said before, the hummingbird. And it shows me that, your mind might be moving faster than everything else too, because of the frequency with which this card or this animal, I should say, works. It says, the more energy and the more intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. So your mind really can propel everything forward. Raise those thoughts, raise that energy, and everything else will follow suit. As I said before, you can make or break a cycle this month. So choose to do that. Also pay attention to your body. A lot of times, if you're opening up in your intuition, you can sense something long before it has a physical manifestation. So better to ask early than to wait for something to happen. We already talked a little bit about Bast here, the independence card. These are not mutually exclusive. You can be independent and still be in successful partnerships and relationships. So find a way to balance those two things out. We had a lot of energy here about your power versus someone else. Again, kind of an extension of this when we're looking at love. So a divine feminine energy here, kind of underneath the ocean, if you will, or underneath the sort of emotional sort of flow. And then we see someone here capable of transversing that. So you get to feed as much as you want into that past influence or in that sort of passion. Just remember, you're driving the ship. You're at the steering wheel. And then decide what you want to nurture, what you want to focus on. To me, this is a more divine masculine card. So that balance here is between your yin yang, your divine masculine and feminine, between putting energy in and also taking action. So I feel this month, relationships overall need to have that balance. One person can't hold the weight of the world. So ask your partner for help. If you're looking for love, make sure that you're feeling strong enough yourself, and that sets a positive trajectory. The final card, kind of even went beyond the meaning of it when I was looking at awakening presence here. The original message said, the universe is with you, wear a cloak of protection and love. But I also got a secondary message here, which is that you have to believe in yourself. This will also be a protective force. If you love who you are and what you're about to share or do, others can't help but follow suit. It's a sort of infectious energy that comes through, and it propels you forward in a positive direction. So that was our review. Now we're going to move along to where healing is possible. Let me just take another quick drink here. And let's look at past, present, and future influences in healing. And for you, there was a lot of energy around fear and partnerships. Those are the kind of two trends that I'm seeing here on all of these cards. So let's see. In the past, is there something or someone that you can let go of? All right, Page of Cups. So I love this card. It's actually kind of like an upgrade from what we have in the center here. The page is basically willing to put yourself out there. To me, pages deliver and receive information. So on this particular card, there's a gentle sort of nature about it. So for some of you, you may not have gotten the feedback that you needed in the past to sort of feel like what I'm doing is appreciated, or what I'm doing is being felt by the other person. There's always a risk of rejection when we try something that we care about. The important thing is to not stop trying. So for any of you that were, you put your heart out there on the line and it just was left hanging and you feel like, oh, I can't do that again. The message here is, it's not easy to say, but it's important. If you stop trying, then you will fail. Failure is it's a surefire way. That's the only way you're going to fail. If you keep trying, then the odds are eventually you're going to find success on something. You have to kind of like play the odds when it comes to opportunities, and trust in the universe and the angels and your guides to direct you to the right path. So if you get 150 sort of like rejections in your life, but you get one that's a yes, and it's the pivotal one that makes a difference, then you succeeded. You didn't fail. You were guided by the rejections to the positive. And as an artist who also goes through that path of being rejected with creative work sometimes, I feel you on that one. So whether it's putting your heart out there and asking someone for their hand in a partnership or marriage or whatever, or asking if someone likes what you're doing, or trying something and seeing, do you get what I'm doing passion-wise? And they don't, keep trying. Eventually, you'll get to that point where it's enough, okay? Keep going. Don't give up. Okay, patience, presence, and also a little bit of detachment is going to be key to your success in this moment in time. Temperance is also saying, all right, so you've been bruised a few times. How about you take one step in that direction today or every day? She's not a drastic angel, the angel on any of the temperance cards. She's always like, one step at a time, easy does it. I've got 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water. I'm balancing out all of my hopes, fears, and expectations. It's really a card of that. And we also see the divine masculine and feminine represented by the sun and the moon. If you can just find your footing, find balance, and take a tiny step forward on that bridge that I was symbolically seeing there, I think that's all it takes. Just see how this feels. And if that step doesn't kill you, take another step. Keep taking the steps forward. And eventually you won't need to look back, because you're going to be on solid ground, okay? So just take a step this month towards saying I'm sorry, towards putting yourself out there again, towards a risk in your life that you were afraid to sort of embrace before. One step. And then also find the balance necessary within. So if there's something about your way of being that is unhealthy, bring the balance this month, especially for those of you that are watching live. This is your deep past. This is your recent past. Something needs to be balanced out. You can do it this month. You can set a new cycle in motion. All right, let's look at the future, not just the month of June, but way beyond that. Let's look and see what the rest of the year has in store for you. And if there's anything that you can do, again, in the realm of forgiveness, letting go of fear, or just general healing that will help. This is where, again, I'm so I'm heartened by all of the partnership cards, but for those of you that are stubborn and kind of like in a hermit energy, I'm sorry. There's a lot of energy around people that want to come into your life. So I kind of got every requisite partnership card that I'd be looking for in love. The Ace of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Six of Cups. This is good. There's nothing bad about this. The Six of Cups harkens back to the relationships from the past, though. So does the Eight of Cups. This is someone from the past or a relationship that matters from the past. The Page of Cups also indicates like childhood. It could be age 10 plus or minus a year or two. So look back when you were a kid and think, is there somebody from the past with whom I feel like I need to say I'm sorry? I mean, for me, the Six of Cups has sibling energy to it or best friend or childlike energy to it. So either a best friend when you were a kid or a brother or sister with whom maybe you don't have the same connection that you used to and you'd like to see some healing. This is a chance to affect that relationship. Also, even just parental healing. And whether or not that family member is in spirit or in a physical form, you can still allow it to happen. The cards that I'm seeing in front of me are also kind of setting the way for a really great new love to come into your life. So if you've been waiting for a higher love, Six of Cups is like divine partnership, soulmate, potentially even, I think it's overused, twin flame. I just want to say like divine partner. So some of you have a really high expectation for what it is that you're looking for in your life. And that's why maybe there's been a path where there hasn't been as much as you've been used to. So sometimes if you're going after something that you care about, whether it's a change in your life, a project, or a partnership, if you really have high expectations, you're not going to be inundated with nonsense. There's going to be sometimes like a dearth or a desert that kind of, of options that happen and you think, am I still on that right path? Yes, based on what I saw, keep moving forward because you're already halfway is what I saw. So if you give up, then you've kind of wasted the potential. If you just finish it up, you'll never look back and think, I wish I would have tried. I think it's far better to see what you're on right now, this path, this relationship, this opportunity to fruition, because this is also celebratory. Six of Cups and Three of Cups have a lot of energy of reunion, celebration. I did it, I made it, I found it. So I think for you, forgiving yourself for like however long it's taken to get where you're at, holding true to the vision that you have for yourself, for your partner, and allowing for that to happen is super important. There's a lot of energy with cups this month, so I feel like you've got to focus on the heart space and focus on the relationships that matter, and that starts with you. That's why the ace is at the center. So in the healing, I think we're going to work with a mirror to look and see if you can love what you see. See what you see and then see if you can actually love it, because you need to heal the parts of yourself. The mirror can represent also what we see in the past. And I want you to kind of change what you see in the mirror so that you can see yourself the way other people see you. And that's the meditation that's coming to me from the guides. So let's do it, okay? For those of you that are with me right now before we meditate, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any future readings, meditations, or videos. It doesn't cost anything to do those two things, and it really helps me. So with that being said, find a comfortable place to be seated, close your eyes. And before we kind of go in front of that magic mirror, I want you to kind of tune into your body and find if there's any blockages. If you're holding on to a lot of weight on your shoulders, you can just give yourself a quick massage, or you can move your shoulders up and back a couple of times. Easy does it, don't overdo it. Just a couple of movements to kind of unwind the energy. And then sit up tall. Imagine that there's a string of light that's being drawn through the center of your body, and inhale. On the exhale, relax your posture and just be present. And let's begin. I'd like you to imagine yourself outside in a sort of sacred grove where nobody's around you. It's just nature. You can hear the birds, perhaps. You can see the trees swaying in the gentle breeze. And imagine that you're in front of this magical mirror that only you can see. And this is kind of a device for your use only. So you've walked into this sacred grove, you're sitting in front of this, and I want you to look into the mirror. At first, you're just going to see what you see when you put on your makeup, brush your teeth, comb your hair every morning. It's just you. It's just that reflection. But I want you to gaze deeply within your own eyes And I want you to imagine that as you're starting to look into the reflection, looking into your eyes, you're not just looking at the physical form, you're actually going to start to see past that reflection. You're going to look into the soul. And I want you to take a moment and see what comes to you, to your vision. Who's looking back at you now? Is it a child? Is it you? Are you happy with what you see? What feelings are brought up? There's nothing right or wrong with this. Don't cast judgment on it. Just observe it because it'll help you later. And as you start to feel these things, I want you now to open your heart and send this sort of beam of energy towards that reflection and send a thought of love to you, to your inner self, to whatever you truly are. Look past the physical into the soul and think, I can't help but love whoever that is, because that energy brought me to today. It brought me to this moment of healing, of understanding. And if there's something in your life that made you feel sad, shed the skin. Did your mom or dad say that you weren't good enough? They were wrong. Let that go. Did someone in your life reject your love? They weren't ready for what you had to give, or they weren't the right match for you. Did you put yourself out there as a creative person and get stamped on a little bit? If you did, that's part of growing. It made your skin a little bit tougher, a little bit stronger, a little bit more ready for the future, knowing that you can handle anything that comes your way. Those moments of rejection really in this moment are just giving you reflection of how strong you are and how you were able to get through things nobody else could have gotten through. It made you who you were today. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Let the sadness go, let the anger go, let the frustration, let the hurt go. It doesn't serve you anymore. Thank it though, because it did lift you up to this moment. In its place, put some other things. Gratitude for all of the skills that you have. Love yourself in a way that people in your life never could really, because they don't know the true energy, the true depth of you. So often we look at one another and we just see the tip of the iceberg. We don't know the emotional or energetic depths that each of us hold. You and you alone understand the depth of your soul. You're starting to see a little bit of it today. Create in this mirror reflection what you want to see. Do you want to see another person standing beside yourself? Do you want to see a happier smile kind of looking back? Do you want to see a future that doesn't look like it is right now? Like whatever it is you want to create, see it. For those of you that feel happy, celebrate that. You've achieved what you wanted. You don't need to recreate something. You've already forged that future that you want. In this moment, allow me to help you go higher in your frequency. I'm going to get the singing bowl and play it for a moment or two and help you get to a higher space. Feel your heart start to open and see the reflection be one of love and light. Fall in love with what you see there. Take a moment to look at the reflection in the mirror, and I want you to reach out towards that reflection and see the hands reaching right back, because it is your mirror self, and embrace what you see. Step through the mirror, melt in with that energy, and know that you always were what you wanted to see there. And if you can start to love and project your true potential, others can see it, others can love you, others will start to see the person that you truly are. Take a deep breath and melt into that embrace until the two of you are one and the mirror disappears. Open your eyes on the exhale and celebrate your new self, your new power, and the truth that you just discovered. So welcome back. That was definitely, I could feel your emotions, your energy as I was going through that. It was a powerful meditation, and I hope you got the healing that you needed there. Let's take a moment here. I want to just say thanks to everybody that was kind enough to show up today to work on yourself. One of the things I used to say when I did these as recorded readings rather than live is that part of my purpose on this planet is to try to pass on that torch, help everybody wake up. So thanks for coming through today and doing the work on yourself. To everybody that was kind enough to do a super chat, from my heart to yours, thank you so much. I will, like I said, call you out in a comment once this is available on replay. I'd love for you to stay in touch with me. I'm going to talk about a few things here. Everything that I'm going to talk about is available on my website. So if you'd like to keep in touch, my website is nicholasashbaugh.com. And you can click on the bio section of YouTube or any of the links that my moderators have posted, and you can get there. First of all, if you haven't already clicked subscribe, why the heck not? Do it now. It doesn't cost anything. And again, it will keep you in the know. I noticed that for a lot of these videos, nobody new subscribed. So please subscribe. That's why I show up here. And if you could kindly also join me on social media, it's a great way to keep in touch. I have the same username on YouTube and Facebook. It's at Nicholas Ashbaugh. And if you'd like to give back in a sort of monthly way, you can do that on Patreon, same username. On YouTube, there's a join button, and that's the only one that will cost. And that one is another way of giving back on a consistent basis. On Facebook, I use stories. I do the same thing on Instagram as a nice reminder of what I'm reading today and what I'm reading tomorrow. So join me on either of these platforms and you'll get a little story reminder before I go live, plus some fun pictures if you join me on Instagram. By the way, it's at Nicholas_Ashbaugh for Instagram. I'm on Twitter as well. You can get reminders there at @nashbaugh. And if you want to give back and just prefer something more traditional, I'm on PayPal. It's paypal.me/NicholasAshbaugh. Again, all of this is on my website. So don't worry if I've gone too fast. It's just, again, Nicholas Ashbaugh. So I'll hold that up here for a second. You can go there, find all that information. Same thing for book or just FAQs and other things. That has everything that you'll need. Special thanks again to Ryan and Maria for holding space today. I appreciate it. And for everybody that showed up, I hope you got the healing that you needed and the insight that you need. I see a lot of energy around opportunity, partnerships in general. So hopefully we cleared out any of that emotional baggage from the past so that you can really step into a clear, clean relationship in the future. And I really liked for the area of like work and opportunity that we see the Six of Pentacles. To me, it's a very resourceful, the Nine of Pentacles. It's a very resourceful card. And with it, it shows me that you can eventually get to that state of being independent. But I think the balance for you this month is between that sort of productivity and power that you see within the Nine of Pentacles and then the partnership energy that we see in the Two of Cups. So finding a balance between being powerful and independent, but also being in a relationship, I think is where you're going to be focusing some of the opportunities this month. So anyway, thank you all so much for showing up. Much love from me to you. I'll be back again tomorrow. The future schedule is also on my website. But until then, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.